Check, check.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing Spirit of Life.
Come unto me, singing.
shape of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Greg Wimpy, and I serve both on the audiovisual team and the History and Legacy Committee here at First Unitarian. First Unitarian Society of Denver is an urban sanctuary for growing souls in love and service. And for nearly 150 years, we have been and continue to be a cornerstone of liberal religion and justice work in Denver. Whoever you are, whoever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. I am excited to share this time with you, and we are so glad that you have joined us either online or in person today. Also joining me up here shortly will be my friend Sally Isaacson, who is also on the History and Legacy Committee, but she is busy greeting out in the foyer, so she'll be up here in a moment. Not only are you welcome here, we look forward to getting to know you better, and we hope you find companions for your journey. After the service, if you'd like to chat, ask questions, or grab a snack and a warm beverage, you're invited to join us in the community room, which is right outside the glass wall there, or on Zoom for coffee hour. So I will be, along with Sally, back at the opportunities table, but also look for folks with yellow mugs who are members of our board of trustees. And if you have any thoughts or questions for them, they're happy to talk with you. So here's Sally. Hello, Sally. Would you like to speak about History and Legacy Committee?
Oh, I would. It's been on my mind for years. No. We have our own room. Yes, that's how important this committee is. A whole room to us. And it's the one that's opposite the library, one filled with file cabinets. And those file cabinets hold treasures. They hold stories of what we have done in the past. And we have done one lot. And it's our privilege in the committee to go through those files, to digitize them. And now we're sort of working on, well, not really, we're thinking about working on organizing the digitization. And we need more people. We've lost people through moving and other health reasons and things like that. So if you are interested at all in history, tradition, etc., we'd love to have you join us. We also need people who are a little organized and a little bit on time, because some of us have problems with that. You do the welcome.
All right, thank you, Sally. And I'll add on to what you said. It's an amazing thing to see what this church has done for over 150 years. But I'm also here to talk to you about the audiovisual team. The AV team ensures that our services are seen, heard, and accessible in person and online. We're all volunteers. We operate the sound system and the video feed, enabling our message and music to go out into the world, both here in the sanctuary as well as on Zoom and YouTube. We always knew that our congregation values a diverse worship experience of speakers and music. And during the pandemic shutdown, we also learned that people needed to be connected to First Unitarian even when they can't be here in person. Our team, in conjunction with the wonderful musicians and Mike and all the other people that put this service on, we all make those things happen. Our team provides training to volunteers, so if you're interested and can commit to about once a month, Please visit the opportunities table after the service. I'll be there to talk about it. Whether you want to run cameras, mix sound, or just help us set up microphones, you are welcome. And in general, if you'd like to be more involved at First Unitarian, visit the opportunities wall and table in the community room. Look for the Opportunities at First Unitarian banner. Each week for the next few months, a different committee will be up there welcoming folks to the service and also in the community room after services to share what we do and answer any questions. The wall has panels representing nearly 30 different opportunities and more than 150 individual positions. We hope you find something that speaks to you. Additional announcements can be found in our weekly First Announce email blast that comes out on Thursday evenings. Now please join me in making sure your electronic devices are silenced so that we may be more fully present in this physical or virtual space. It's so good to be here with you. Let's now worship together.
Whoever you are, wherever you are welcome here. Thank you so much for being here. Join together and sing with us the welcome song. We are many, we are one. The light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul. A place has been made for you.
Good morning, First Unitarian. Oh, I like the sound of that. I feel your presence this morning. I want to hold up a few joys and concerns of our larger community today. I want to hold up that two people who have been longtime members of this congregation have birthdays on this very day, and that is Sally Isaacson, who was up here just a moment ago, and Carol Lassen turns 90 today. I also want to hold up and let you know that Matt Davis and James Crapes got engaged a couple weeks ago. Wish them well. I want to hold up this morning that 3 bills were introduced in the Colorado legislature this past week. One will help keep treatments for STDs covered under health insurance. One will help keep women's preventative and reproductive care covered under mandatory insurance. And one will help shield both providers and women from out of state who come here for reproductive health care. All 3 of those are not law yet, but they were introduced, and that is a good thing. I will need to let you know that Nancy Graham, who was a member of our congregation, sang in the choir. Many of you will remember her. Nancy passed away last Sunday from cancer. There will be a memorial for her this coming Friday at the Museum of Nature and Science. That's March 17th at 10 a.m. A call to worship today is a poem by Adrian Rich called Transcendental Etude, and that is exactly the title I stole for the sermon that's going to come a little bit later. But Adrian's words go like this: no one ever told us we had to study our lives, make of our lives a study, as if learning natural history or music, that we should begin with the simple exercises first and slowly go on trying the hard ones, practicing till strength and accuracy become one with the daring to leap into transcendence, take the chance of breaking down the wild arpeggio or faulting the full sentence of the fugue. And in fact, we can't live like that. We take on everything at once before we've even begun to read or mark time. We're forced to begin in the midst of the hardest movement, the one that is already sounding as we are born.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome Sarah Fuhrer as our guest musician today. We've known each other for like 20 years or something like that. Mike's going to be speaking about Ralph Waldo Emerson in a little bit. So we've chosen a couple pieces by contemporaries of Emerson. This first one is Camille Saint-Saëns, and then we have a Franz Schubert piece a little later. So glad Sarah's here to play.
Good morning. If you are young or young at heart, or if you were ever born, you may come up here if you would like to see the pictures of our book that we're going to read today. I'm actually going to start out with a little bit of bittersweet news. Our wonderful youth coordinator, Lena, who's right down here in front, her business Interfaith Bridge is expanding and growing, and unfortunately for us, that means that she is going to be not at First Unitarian anymore. I know I'm starting to get a little choked up about it. Lena, you've been here for, what did you say, like 6 years. Has become an integral part of our youth programming here. April 2nd will be her last day. And on that day in the community room, we will have a celebration, a party for her after that. So if you see her around, say hello, and we'll miss you. All right, so today, my friends, we are going to read this book for you. You will have to deal a little bit with me clunking the pages because I will probably have to hold the mic and do it at the same time. Oh, thank you, Jessica. This is called Henry Hikes to Fitchburg, and it is by D.B. Johnson. One summer day, Henry and his friend decided to go to Fitchburg to see the country. "I'll walk," said Henry. "It's the fastest way to travel." "I'll work," Henry's friend said, "until I have enough money to buy a ticket to ride the train to Fitchburg. We'll see who gets there first." His friend waved. "Enjoy your walk," he said. Henry walked down the road to Fitchburg. "Enjoy your work," he called back. Henry's friend filled the wood box in Mrs. Alcott's kitchen, 10 cents. Henry hopped from rock to rock across the Sudbury River. His friend swept out the post office, 5 cents. Henry carved a walking stick, 25 miles to Fitchburg. Henry's friend pulled all the weeds in Mr. Hawthorne's garden, 15 cents. Henry put fens and flowers in a book and pressed them. His friend painted the fence in front of the courthouse, 10 cents. Henry walked on stone walls. Henry's friend moved the bookcase in Mr. Emerson's study, 15 cents. Henry climbed a tree, 18 miles to Fitchburg. His friend carried water to the cows grazing on the grass in town, 5 cents. Henry made a raft and paddled up the Nashua River. Henry's friend cleaned out Mrs. Thoreau's chicken house, 10 cents. Henry crossed a swamp and found a bird's nest in the grass, 12 miles to Fitchburg. His friend carried flour from the mill to the village baker, 20 cents. Henry found a honey tree. Henry's friend ran to the train station to buy his ticket to Fitchburg, 90 cents. Henry jumped into a pond, 7 miles to Fitchburg. Fun fact, he's a naked bear in this. His friend sat on the train in a tangle of people. Henry ate his way through a blackberry patch. Henry's friend got off the train at Fitchburg Station just as the sun was setting. Henry took a shortcut, 1 mile to Fitchburg. His friend was sitting in the moonlight when Henry arrived. "The train was faster," he said. Henry took a small pail from his pack. "I know," he smiled. "I stopped for blackberries." The end. So there are different ways to get to places, right? We can each take our own specific journey. Some take one way and some take another. Doesn't mean that anyone is wrong. Henry's was usually through the forest, though. It's sort of based on a real person that I think you guys are going to talk about today, right? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. A couple of very important things. We do not have a volunteer for 3 through 5 today, so if you have a 3-year-old through 5-year-old, please just hang out in our wonderful, peaceful play space. And if you are in K through 5 or above, we are going to take the long way today to get downstairs. So you have to follow me on our own journey through the deep, dark places of the church. Friends, if you could sing out Our Children, that'd be great.
please join us together in singing, I Brought My Spirit to the Sea. And rise, please, if you'd like. I brought my spirit to the sea. I stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity. I heard the waters roar. And then there came a sense of peace. Some whisper upon my soul. Some ancient ministry of stars had made my spirit whole. I brought my spirit to the trees that moved against the sky. I touched each wandering, careless breeze to know if God was nigh. And then I felt an inner flame that fiercely burned my tears. A bride I rose from bended knee to meet the asking years.
It's a good day. It is a good day partially because today is a time of celebration and community, a time for all of us to open our arms, open our hearts, and honor the sacred bonds of human commitment. This morning, we are going to welcome, I believe, 10 people who have found here in this movement and in this particular congregation a place they will make their spiritual home. So I'm going to call out the names I know of, and when you hear your name, would you please come up here and join me? Jane Ashley, Tisa and Rick Roberts, Ed and Teresa Dieringer, Taylor King Chang, Rich Steffen, Bill and Lorna Moore, Karen Jackson. Is there anyone else here today that I don't know of who is ready to take this step with First Unitarian Church of Denver? All right, then. Good folks. Membership in this beloved congregations brings some expectations. We ask for a commitment to the community and a practice of deep respect. Taking seriously your own spiritual growth and reflection in the shelter of community is one of the ties that binds us together. Lending your efforts and time to the larger ministry of the church and helping to further the spirit of trust and goodwill that is our religious ideal allows all of us to be the best that we can be as people and as a community. Helping as you're able with the financial needs of the larger ministry allows everything we do and everything we dream to be grounded in reality. Do you freely accept these implications of membership? Good folks of First Unitarian Denver, you have a job to do. It's a job that only you can do. Welcome, encourage, befriend, get to know these fine people. Invite them fully into this community in a way that only you can do. Invite them into your lives, invite them into your hearts. We are a new congregation today, with the welcome addition of these faces, these stories, these lives, these families who are new to us. Will you accept these persons into our membership fully aware that as life is constantly changing, so too the nature of our community is also constantly evolving? Yes. Excellent. We will extend the right hand of fellowship and a flower as a symbol of the bond which already exists and the hope of that bond growing stronger every day. Would you help me, please? We have a little tradition here where we invite people who are signing our membership book to say a few words, if they choose to. They can decline if they wish. But if they choose to just say a few words about why they're choosing to sign the membership book today. And we're going to do it just slightly different than we've done it before. I'm going to ask people to step to this microphone and say a few words about why you're choosing to sign the membership book, and then come to and sign the membership book here at the pulpit while the next person shares. Rich, would you begin?
Good morning. My name is Rich Stephen. I don't have a long history of Unitarianism. I became acquainted with this church about 2 years ago, and I am very impressed with everything here. I find that the principles all agree with mine, and I'm very grateful for the acceptance that I've experienced from this community.
Hello, my name's Taylor. I've been coming here since October, and I went to Unitarian Church when I was little, and I just felt called to come back and try and find a community. Everyone here has been really welcoming and nice, and I really appreciate just all of the hard work you all do for our society and the greater good of our community. And just every other week when we have our giving in action, I just feel like all of the groups have been they really resonate with what I would like to make a difference in the world with too. So thank you everyone for welcoming me. I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. We are Ed and Teresa Derringer, relocated here from Salt Lake City about 6 months ago. We're married in the Unitarian Church 40 years ago and raised our 3 children in the church. And so we're just so pleased to find this beautiful congregation. People have been so welcoming, and we're looking forward to being good participants.
Today, we recognize the interconnectedness of all existence, of which we are all a part. We are excited to be more engaged with our community, our new community, to be able to fulfill that deeper connection.
Hi, I'm Tisa Roberts, and I guess it would be not this last summer, but the summer before, after the long quarantine, we just by happenstance ended up at the, I think it was like the worship in the park or something like that, and it just happened, and it was so welcoming, so peaceful, so communal, like we felt right at home. And since then, we've been just waiting for this morning and happy to be here. And I just, as I'm looking out, I'm like wondering what new friends we'll make and excited to be here, so.
I'm Rick Roberts, Tisa's other half, and yeah, I mean, we moved to Colorado 35 years ago, and we have been here for a while, and so we came here to kind of decommission Rocky Flats and build a family, and those 2 projects are kind of over at this point. So we decided to move to Denver about 10 years ago, And yeah, we've been searching for a community, and as Tisa said, I mean, it felt so right when we came and met everyone at the park and have been coming ever since, and it's great to join this community. You all are really welcoming, and everyone we've met has been so nice, and so yeah, we feel we're at home, so thank you.
I'm Jane Ashley. I've lost 2 name tags so far. So I moved here 5 years ago to be near my beautiful daughter Molly and my grandsons, 2 grandsons now. And a year and a half ago, I joined the choir, and someone told me joining the choir is the fast track to a social life in this church. And it was absolutely true, and I'm just really happy to be here. And the other thing I wanted to say is that I have a higher power in my life, and that is community. And this is a wonderful community. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Karen, and I'm really excited about becoming a part of this community. I moved here from Los Angeles some time ago, and in Los Angeles I was a long-term member, well, in Redondo Beach, their Unitarian church, and raised my son there. And so I'm just share all the values of the people that I meet here, and always happy by all the warmth from all the people that I've met here. So that's about it.
Good morning. I'm Lorna Moore, and my husband and I have probably averaged one time every 10 years coming to this church, or previously the one down in Hamden in Colorado, and we thought it was probably time to step up our frequency of attendance. I was raised in a First Universalist church back in Minnesota, and it was the funnest part of the week. We had an orthopedist as our Sunday school teacher. We built the city of Bethlehem out of plaster of Paris. And we went and studied magnets and went out to the fossil quarries and dug up fossils. It was so much fun. So it's always been a part of my life, but we felt it was time to become a more frequent part of our lives.
I'm Bill Moore. Lorna and I, too, somebody mentioned were married by a Unitarian minister 51 and a half years ago. Our spiritual journey together has been rather spotty and irregular, as Lorna suggested. I recently found out that I'm closer to the end of my life than I had previously suspected, which has a wonderful quality of focusing your attention and helps to separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will. So I'm in the process of doing that. And I think our renewed interest in the UU Church, which somehow, as Lorna said, has kind of always been there in the background at least, is my search for some peace, some thoughtfulness, some contemplative words and thoughts, and just some peace. So we're very glad to be here and among you all. Thank you.
I told you it was a good day today. Would you all please join me in the responsive reading, which is going to be up there, and you all should have a copy now. Just notice which parts are yours. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with hope in your heart. We bid you welcome, who come with anticipation in your step, we bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe, to explore, and to learn. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Yay.
Take a moment.
Thank you. Thank you. That is sobering. 80 years old. I've lived half my life here in Denver. That's great. But on to the important stuff. This is going to be different than my normal ask. Put another nickel in the Nickelodeon. Music, music, music. That is what I'm talking about. Music in this church. It is wonderful. We have delightful voices and fabulous musicians. And they're under the direction of two of our staff who've been with us for quite a few years. And every Sunday, they soothe our souls, they lift our spirits, and they make us feel good. And we pay them. Now, we would love to give them a cost of living increase with the new church year, but that means that we need to have a budget that allows it. And our budget is based on pledges, because we need to know what we think we're getting. And some people have not turned in their pledges, but you're welcome to do it today, or the nagging will start. So, just slight warning. And if you're a new member, see me afterwards. But truly, our music is made by our members for the most part. We have fabulous musicians within our congregation, and the voices of our choir are wonderful, and they're all a part of us. And so we want to support our church and our staff. So pledges are great, and then you can also make this the biggest plate draw that we've had in honor of Carol and my birthday. So get your nickels out. Thank you.
Your gifts, freely given, are gratefully received. Thank you for your contributions, your generosity towards the life and work of this larger church, larger community. Thank you. Some of you may know we have a leadership development team here at First Unitarian, and you may or may not know they've been working hard to do their jobs, which is to find people to run for our elected positions, Board of Trustees and so on and so forth. Would you folks who are on the Leadership Development Council who are here, would you stand up so we can recognize and thank you? If you'd like, stand up and stretch for a minute. You can do that anytime at all, of course, but just want to make sure you know it is perfectly fine. We've been sitting for a while. I'm going to start this Transcendental Etude with one of my very favorite literary passages, and this one is from Pat Conroy in his book, The Prince of Tides. One bright summer night, when we were very small and the humid air hung like moss over the low country, my sister and brother and I could not sleep. Our mother took us out of the house, Savannah and I with summer colds and Luke with a heat rash, and walked all of us down to the river and out onto the dock. I have a surprise for you, my darlings. There's something I want you to see, something that will help you sleep. Look over there, children, she said, pointing out toward the horizon to the east. It was growing dark on this long summer evening, and suddenly, at the exact point her finger had indicated, the moon lifted a forehead of stunning gold above the horizon, lifted straight out of filigreed, light-intoxicated clouds that lay on the skyline in attendant veils. Behind us, the sun was setting in a simultaneous congruent withdrawal, and the river turned to flame in a quiet duel of gold. The new gold of moon astonishing and ascendant, the depleted gold of sunset extinguishing itself in the long westward slide. It was the old dance of days in the Carolina marshes, the breathtaking death of days before the eyes of children, until the sun vanished, its final signature a ribbon of bullion strung across the tops of water oaks. The moon then rose quickly, rose like a bird from the water, rose from the trees, from the islands, and climbed straight up, gold, then yellow, then pale yellow, pale silver, silver bright, and then something miraculous, immaculate and beyond silver, a color native only to southern nights. We children sat transfixed before that moon our mother had called forth from the waters. When the moon had reached its deepest silver, my sister Savannah, though only 3, cried aloud to our mother, to Luke, to me, to the river and the moon, "Oh, Mama, do it again." Our topic this morning is Transcendentalism, as developed by 19th century Unitarians like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Margaret Fuller, Henry David Thoreau, Louisa May Alcott, about a dozen others. That's our topic. And to explore it this morning, I confess I have no interest in giving you a lecture about 19th century intellectual thought regarding Transcendentalism. So I want to do something else. I want to take Emerson at its word, at least for now. Take Emerson at his word and try to see nature itself, as the holiest of any possible scripture. That is more authentic than any book, more immediate than any theology, a scripture that is truthful at every conceivable level, that exists completely on its own terms, that neither requires nor excludes the existence of any deity, that is not dependent on human interpretation, that is vast, interconnected, endlessly mysterious. We'll do some observation, see what we can notice, and I will be borrowing liberally from some observers that I admire, whose gifts for observation far exceed my own. And if we do this well, we will have only scratched the surface of an immense subject. Thoreau wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." First observation is that our experience of nature can be of astonishing and transcendent beauty. Maybe like the moonrise described in that passage from Pat Conroy. Emerson believed there are moments available to us as human beings, moments of great insight and feeling where it is possible to sense, to feel, to breathe our connection to all that is. And he believed it was those transcendent moments when we are glimpsing, sensing, feeling, tasting, if you will, the real truth of the universe and the real truth of our own nature. Emerson's name for the divine was, and I think this is poetic and lovely, the oversoul. And he thought the oversoul was manifest in everything, in you and in me, in rocks and trees, the sky and the stars, the wind, all of it. Everything, at least partially divine. He wrote, "In the woods we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me in life, no disgrace, no calamity, which nature cannot repair. Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, all mean egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all the currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part and parcel of God." Now, in fine Unitarian and Transcendentalist tradition, Emerson insisted that any quest for the spiritual simply had to stay rooted in the natural. And anything not rooted in the natural was merely ephemeral. Reverend A. Powell Davies once argued that a quest for the supernatural was really a flight from the spiritual, a flight to something merely projected, a flight to something of merely childish imagery. Hoping and praying for miracles, Davies thought, is also childish. He said it keeps our minds immature, the soul timid and disempowered, an actual hindrance to spirituality. It is, by the way, some pretty solid Unitarian theology right there. So picture a sunset, maybe over the ocean, maybe like the one described in the passage from Pat Conroy, Picture massive overlapping layers of pastel flames reflected off the water, dazzling. Scientifically, what you're seeing is nothing but what the curvature of the earth does to a source of light. The clouds are just some moisture suspended in the atmosphere. The ocean that reflects it is really just kind of a vast expanse of hydrogen and oxygen, sodium, chlorine, and a few other trace elements. The light comes from an insentient ball of burning helium. The photons that make the whole thing visible, mindless particles, hurtling through space, understanding neither their direction, their purpose, nor their origin. No part of the sunset is aware of the sunset. Even our eyes that perceive all that color and light, it's just a bit of evolved dust. Briefly blended with some water for the short duration of a human lifetime, so these walking blobs of protoplasm that we call bodies might see a sunset that is questionably even there. Which is all, sort of interesting. And what a boring world it would be if that were all there were to it. What a jaw-dropping, stunningly boring world that would be, because we don't see the sunset with facts and components. We see it with a sense of wonder and joy and beauty, and if we're lucky, we'll experience a sense of solace to pervade our very beings. Elevated thoughts arise in those situations to calm our bodies and minds, and these things are real too. Even if we can't measure them or adequately describe them with science, the whole truth is that the sunset is not only in the sky and the photons and the molecules of the eye, it's also in the soul. And this is part of creation as well. This is what it means to be a transcendentalist. A little more observation. Nature's not just sunsets and beauty. There's also a whole lot of suffering and pain and death. Isn't it true that in the grand scheme of things, nature doesn't give a fig about individuals, lovable though we be? Consider all the creatures who give birth to thousands of young only to have 2 or 3 survive. Consider we live in a world where 99% of every species that has ever existed is now extinct. Consider that there is no behavior so abominable or disgusting to human sensibilities that some insect, parasite, virus, fungus, or bacteria hasn't evolved to do it for a living. Consider how basically chancy it is out there for any creature in the wild. Nature works in heaped up generations, astronomical time, and nature has this strange way of getting things done. Annie Dillard uses a curious analogy to describe the methodology of nature for filling any particular niche in the ecosystem. She says, imagine you're the manager of the Southern Railroad. You figure you need 3 engines for a stretch of track between Lynchburg and Danville. And that being the case, at fantastic effort and expense, you have your shops make 9,000 engines. Each engined just so. No cutting corners, every rivet bolt secure, every wire twisted and wrapped, every needle on every indicator sensitive and accurate. You hire 9,000 engineers and you send all the engines out on the run simultaneously. You don't staff the switches. The engines crash, collide, derail, jump the tracks, burn, and jam. And at the end of the mess, you have 3 engines left, which is what the run could support in the first place. There's few enough of them now they can stay out of each other's way. You go to your board of directors and you tell them what you've done. And what are they going to say? They're going to say, that is one hell of a way to run a railroad. And yet, seems to be that's how the universe works. Nature, through the method of evolution, clearly favors death and failure much more than it favors you and me. And from that perspective, all of us, we are just passing through. Annie Dillard wrote, and I like this quote, "We have not yet encountered any God as merciful as a child who flicks a beetle back over onto its feet." Another observation, nature. Thinking about nature, experiencing nature gives us perspective. Eric Allen, in his beautiful book, Wild Grace, Nature is a Spiritual Path, writes this: explore tonight. Take the largest problem you currently have with you to whatever sliver of sky you have available. One window and one star will do. Focus on that star and breathe. Remember patience. Remember how long the light from that star has taken to reach you. Give it respect. Give it attention. For that particular starlight, after its journey of ages, will have traveled for naught if you ignore it. It will never return. Its tone is as pure as that of a bell. Harmonize with it, sing to it, and breathe, and again compare yourself and that problem to the distance, if you can still remember the problem by then. You are far larger than your problem, and you too have noticed how you vanish against that star. No matter if the problem is love, family, friendship, career, health, trauma, disconnection from the spirit, it, even more than you, fades to nothing in the face of the stars. One final observation in this transcendental etude. As any good scripture should do, nature is a fine teacher of patience. We don't plant a tree, plant a seed, and instantly get an oak tree. The farmer who's impatient with their crops has not learned to respect seasons and cycles. Our own depth experiences show this to be true. Learning, growing, takes time. Loving relationships, even those of 51 and a half years, right, have stages, and they all take time. Listening takes time. Understanding takes time. Growth takes time. In my experience, real growth just will not be rushed, and the process, at least for adults, is more like patiently clearing out old stuff to make room for whatever's seeking to be born. Thoreau wrote, "Why should we live in such a hurry? We're determined to be starved before we're even hungry. We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn. Our inventions are wont to be pretty toys which distract our attention from serious things. They are but improved means to an unimproved end. We are in great haste to connect a magnetic telegraph from Maine to Texas, but Maine and Texas, it may be, have nothing important to communicate. So this is as good a time as any to remind you that I'll be teaching a class on nature and soul, right here at church, beginning a week from this coming Thursday. Information's on the back of your order of service. You're all welcome. Send me an email to register. My wish for all of us today, may you live in such a way, attuned to nature, alive to your possibilities, present to your losses, loving and loved So much so that when you come to the end of your life, your time on this world, and the lights are going out for the last time, you will joyfully be saying some equivalent of, "Oh, Mama, do it again." Amen.
Would you please rise and body your spirit and join in singing our closing affirmation, after which you can remain standing for our benediction.
differences, and beneath our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us together forever throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars, throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars.
Friends, you know, in a round world, what goes around comes around. Circles and cycles of stars, seasons of growth and decay, birth and death, and unexpected resurrection. You and I and we are inextricably connected to all that is and was and ever will be. Amen. Our service is ended. Go in peace.